Shiva is the transformative force and Vishnu is the sustaining power. Both of them are complementary. This duality ensures that the universe remains in a state of dynamic equilibrium, perpetually cycling through the creation, which is Srishti, preservation, which is Sthiti, and dissolution, which is Laya. Parashurama is combined avatar of both Shiva and Vishnu. He embodies both Shiva's and Vishnu's attributes. Parashurama is trained by Shiva and tasked by Vishnu. He balances the destruction and preservation, reflecting the unique synthesis of their divine qualities in maintaining cosmic order. Shivakesava Avataram Sri Parashuramam. And in this documentary, allow me to bring forward the complete history of Parashurama. At the outset, let me tell you something. The history of Parasurama is very fragmented and non-linear in our ancient scriptures. It is very complicated. Until and unless you piece different puzzles from different Puranas, Mahabharatam and Ramayanam, you will not be able to get the complete history at one go. It is quite fragmented and non-linear. So for ease of expression and narration, I will just pick up the most important episodes from Parashurama to construct a complete timeline of his life history in a logical and sequential manner. And I will be skipping all the slokas in this documentary, unlike rest of the videos from Project Shivoham, because this itself will take us a lot of time. So I handpicked 15 important events in the life history of Parashurama that essentially gives us the complete view about his life, his achievements, and most importantly, why we revere him. So in this documentary, I'm going to cover the complete life history of Parashurama, the ancient scriptures about Parashurama. I'm going to give you the right references so that one could go back and read if you're interested. And third and last, the legacy of Parashurama that is alive even today and how Parashurama will return in the future, because we all know that Parashurama is a Chiranjeevi, an immortal person. So all in all, these three topics, without any further delay, let us get started. In the lineage of Bhrigu Maharshi was born Jamadagni Maharshi, and to Jamadagni Maharshi and Renuka Devi there are 5 sons, and youngest of them was Bhargava Rama. He was called Bhargava Rama as he was born in the family lineage of Bhrigu Maharshi. And Bhargava Rama's maternal grandfather was Viswamitra Maharshi, but that's for another day. And the birth of Bhargava Rama has a very long backstory. The core essence of that story is Bhagwan Dattatreya takes up this incarnation of Bhargava Rama. Why and what? I'll explain that in a couple of minutes. But that's how Bhargava Rama is born to Jamadagni Maharshi and Renuka Devi. Bhargava Rama's early years were marked by rigorous training in warfare, archery, Dhanurvidya, Veda Vidya, and so on under his father Jamadagni Maharshi's guidance. From a young age, Bhargava Rama exhibited extraordinary strength and discipline. Jamadagni Maharshi, who was wise and powerful, ensured that Bhargava Rama's education was comprehensive, blending martial skills with deep spiritual wisdom. And this dual focus prepared Parashurama for his destined role as a warrior sage, capable of wielding immense power while upholding the principles of dharma and righteousness. As he progressed with his Vidyabhyasam, Bhargava Rama once approached his grandfather Bhrigu Maharshi seeking for knowledge on Dhanurvidya, and Bhrigu Maharshi directs his grandson Bhargava Rama towards Shiva, as he is the one who created this art of warfare and archery, and asked Bhargava Rama to do a tapas for Mahadev seeking Dhanurvedam. Dhanurvedam is also called as Shiva Dhanurvedam as it emanated from Mahadev, and from there starts the journey of Bhargava Rama in search of Shiva. After years of tapas of Parasurama, pleased with his bhakti, Mahadev appears in front of Parashurama. And this episode is very, very crucial in the entire Mahabharatam. In fact, this very episode shaped up the entire Mahabharatam. Shiva hands a huge axe to Bhargava Rama, blessing him with unparalleled strength, valor, courage, and knowledge in the form of Dhanurvidya or Dhanurvedam. And from this moment on, Bhargava Rama became Parashurama because of the axe that is handed to him by Mahadev himself. And not just the Parasu, Mahadev grants him the complete Dhanurvidya along with many astras like Brahmastra, Pashupatastra, Narayanastra, Agneyastra, Varunastra, Vayavyastra, Brahmasironamakastra, and even says that an element of Shiva enters into Parashurama, and from then on he becomes an avatar of Shiva, making him immortal. In this entire episode, 2 things are quite crucial for us. Number 1 is the Parasu, and this Parasu given by Shiva to Parasurama is actually given by Sri Mahavishnu to Mahadev, and that's another different backstory. To cut it short, Sri Mahavishnu hands this Parasu to Bhagavan Shiva, asking him to give it to Parashurama, who would be an avatar of both of Shiva and Vishnu in future, and that's what Shiva did. And second thing is, the entire Dhanurvedam that Shiva granted to Parashurama lays the foundational bedrock for the entire Mahabharatam eventually, and that I'll explain in a couple of minutes. After the episode of Shiva Darshanam, Parasurama eventually continues his tapas for Vishnu Darshanam, and eventually Sri Mahavishnu appears in front of Parashurama and gives him Vishnu Dhanas, which is a huge bow that's consecrated in the name of Sri Mahavishnu, and also blesses him, saying that an element of Sri Mahavishnu will now enter into Parashurama, making him an avatar of Sri Mahavishnu as well. And that completes Parashurama, making him an avatar of both Sri Mahavishnu and Shiva. Shivakesava Avataram Sri Parasuramam. And from that episode onwards, he becomes an invincible warrior as well as a devout ascetic. The dichotomy in Parasurama is just amazing. On one side, you have an ascetic who completely practices ahimsa, and on the other side, you have the warrior element whose rage and destruction against adharma is unimaginably strong and violent. Both these elements make Parashurama Avataram a very unique inspiration for young boys and girls in Bharat even today. But more on that towards end of this documentary. Let's continue with the history of Parashurama. According to Mahabharatam, there was a kingdom called Mahishmati, ruled by a king called Kartavirya Arjuna, and he is a sort of a demigod with 1,000 hands. Kartavirya Arjuna once visited the ashrama of Jamadagni Maharshi, who possessed a divine cow or Kamadhenu called Sushila, capable of fulfilling any wish. Mesmerized by Kamadhenu's Divya Shakti, Kartavirya Arjuna demanded the cow, but Jamadagni Maharshi refused it, citing her the necessity for his yajnas and Vedic rituals. Enraged by the denial, Kartavirya Arjuna forcibly took the Kamadhenu, leading to a great distress in the ashrama of Jamadagni Maharshi. Upon returning, Jamadagni Maharshi's son Parashurama, looking at the grief of his father, got enraged and vowed to avenge the adharmic act of Kartavirya Arjuna. Parasurama vowed revenge. With his divine Parashu, he sets out to confront Kartavirya Arjuna. Kartavirya Arjuna, relying on his Sahasrabahu or the 1,000 arms and his divine powers, believed he was invincible. A fierce battle ensued where Kartavirya Arjuna unleashed his mighty strength, but Parashurama, with his unparalleled martial prowess and tapashakti, overwhelmed him. Parashurama severed Kartavirya Arjuna's 1,000 arms and ultimately beheaded him, restoring dharma and reclaimed Kamadhenu. This encounter demonstrated Parashurama's role as a Kshatriya Dharma enforcer, emphasizing the triumph of Dharma over Adharma. Parashurama returned to the ashrama with Kamadhenu, reinstating divine order and peace in the land of Jamadagni Maharshi's ashrama. After Parashurama killed Kartavirya Arjuna, the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna harbored a deep grudge against Jamadagni Maharshi, blaming him for their father's death. Seething with vengeance, they plotted to kill the Jamadagni Maharshi. One day, while Parashurama was away from the ashrama, the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna attacked Jamadagni Maharshi. He was performing his sacred rituals when they arrived, and despite his wife Renuka Devi's desperate pleas for mercy, they mercilessly beheaded Jamadagni Maharshi. In that extreme moment of grief, Renuka Devi shouted for Parashurama's help for 21 times. Parashurama was close enough to hear the grief of his mother, but by the time he arrived at the ashrama, his father, Jamadagni Maharshi, passed away. And this incident unleashed the uncontrollable rage, anger, and tremendous amounts of aggression in Parashurama. Parashurama, driven by the brutal murder of his father Jamadagni Maharshi by the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna, vowed to rid the earth of Kshatriyas 21 times. His intense grief and righteous anger fueled the series of 21 conquests, each symbolizing his commitment to eradicate adharma and restore dharma. Parashurama, wielding his divine Parashu, systematically vanquished Kshatriya rulers and warriors who had become corrupt and tyrannical. Not all, only the ones who are corrupt and tyrannical. He traversed the land, engaging in fierce battles, defeating kings, obliterating their armies. These 21 conquests were not merely acts of vengeance, but a divine mission to re-establish the dharma. Through his actions, Parashurama emphasized the importance of righteousness or dharma, justice, nyaya, and the protection of dharma, ensuring the restoration of peace and harmony in the world. Again, I repeat, in his 21 conquests, he punished only those clans and eradicated those clans of Kshatriyas who were corrupt and tyrannical. And the very existence of Pandavas or Kauravas, these clans itself shows that certain clans really survived these 21 conquests because they were not touched by Parashurama. It is only those Kshatriya clans who are corrupted and are on the path of adharma. After completing his 21 conquests and purging the earth of corrupt Kshatriyas, Parashurama felt the weight of his actions and the bloodshed he has caused. Realizing the need to restore balance, he undertook severe tapas and sought forgiveness for his deeds. Despite his fierce attacks on the corrupt Kshatriyas, Parashurama's ultimate goal was to uphold dharma and establish peace. As part of his penance, Parashurama renounced and donated all the kingdoms and empires and lands and everything that he conquered in this 21 conquests to Kasyapa Prajapati, in whose name is established Kashmir. There is a connect between these two, but that is for another day. Focusing only on Parashurama, eventually he withdrew from the worldly affairs and retired to Mahendragiri to continue his penance and live a life of asceticism. And this place, Mahendragiri, which became the final abode of Parashurama, is quite crucial, and in many Puranas and Itihasas will encounter the same location from which Parashurama comes out on different events. Years passed by. Parashurama was continuing his penance on the Mahendragiri, and eventually one day he came to know that in the lineage of Surya Vamsam, there born a young prince called Sri Rama, who under certain circumstances could handle Shivadhanassu and in fact broke it into two. Parashurama, amused by the strength of this young little boy, Rama, decided to test him directly. Parashurama, testing Rama's strength and divine nature, challenges him to string Vishnu Chapa or Vishnu Dhanus as well. Rama effortlessly strings the bow and prepares to shoot an arrow, revealing his true identity as Vishnu's seventh avatar, Bhagavan Sri Rama. Realizing this, Parashurama acknowledges Rama's divinity, surrenders his powers, and retreats to his life of penance back on the Mahendragiri. And this encounter of Parashurama and Bhagavan Sri Rama signifies the transition of divine power from Parashurama to Bhagavan Sri Rama and solidifies Bhagavan Sri Ram's role as the upholder of dharma from then on. Taking up the baton from the sixth avatar of Sri Mahavishnu as Parashurama towards the seventh avatar of Sri Mahavishnu as Bhagavan Sri Rama. Eons passed by and the times of Ramayana were completed, and there entered the times of Mahabharata, and still Parasurama is alive. Bhishmacharya, the son of King Shantanu and Gangama, sought to become a supreme warrior and was trained by Parashurama. That's right, Parashurama was the guru of Bhishmacharya, who was renowned for his mastery in weaponry, martial arts, Dhanurvedam, everything he inculcated into Bhishmacharya. Recognizing Bhishma's dedication and potential, Parashurama imparted the entirety of Dhanurvedam granted to him by Lord Shiva. Under Parashurama's rigorous training, Bhishma honed his skills, becoming an unmatched warrior and a war strategist. In the 18 days of Kurukshetra war, 11 days, it was Bhishmacharya alone who was directing the forces of Kuru Sainyam in the battle of Kurukshetra. Parashurama is also the guru of Dronacharya, the master teacher of warfare and martial arts for both Kauravas and Pandavas in Mahabharata. Due to a certain turn of events, Dronacharya, in a very deprived and helpless state, approaches Parashurama seeking for Bhiksha. Parashurama said that he has nothing with him except Dhanurvidya or Dhanurvedam, and that's all what he could donate to Dronacharya, and he did so, thus becoming the guru of Dronacharya. Yes, Parashurama is also the guru of Dronacharya, and indirectly Parashurama is also the guru of Kauravas and Pandavas through Dronacharya. Parashurama is also the guru of Karna, the eldest one of all the Kauravas and Pandavas put together. Karna, the son of Kunti and Surya Bhagavan, known for his exceptional prowess and desire to master the weaponry and Dhanurvedam. And to further his skills, Karna sought out Parashurama, who was known for his supreme expertise in Dhanurvidya. Disguising himself as a Brahmin to avoid any bias against his Kshatriya heritage, Karna impressed Parashurama with his dedication and humility. Parashurama, recognizing Karna's potential, agreed to train him in advanced warfare techniques, particularly in archery and use of the Divya Astras. Under Parashurama's guidance, Karna mastered these skills and gained profound knowledge, which later became crucial in his role in Kurukshetra. However, Parashurama's training also led to a dramatic conflict when he discovered Karna's true identity, that he is a Kshatriya and not a Brahmana. Hence, Parashurama gave him a curse that at his final moments, all the knowledge that he gained from Parashurama would not come to his rescue because he lied. He lied that he was a Brahmana, and the reality is he was a Kshatriya. Now, this is the truth about Karna. There are enormous amounts of fake narratives and false narratives in the name of Karna. I will definitely make a detailed documentary about Karna where I'll address all these. But for now, it is clearly due to the fault of Karna that he lied to Parashurama that he was a Brahmana, while the truth is he is a Kshatriya. Hence, he was cursed. Few minutes ago, I said that Shiva inculcating Dhanurvedam in Parashurama was foundational for Mahabharatam. You know why? Parashurama is the guru of Bhishma, Drona and Karna. Can you imagine Kurukshetram without Bhishma, Drona and Karna? Absolutely not. And he being the guru of all these three great warriors, the Dhanurvedam given by Mahadev to Parashurama, and from Parashurama to Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and by extension to all the 105 Kauravas and Pandavas through Dronacharya, is the foundation for Mahabharatam. One of the most important and almost the last episodes that we see Parashurama in Mahabharatam is in the battle between Bhishmacharya and Parashurama. That's right. Bhishmacharya, who revered and respected Parashurama by doing a Sastanga Pranamam to Parashurama, had to fight Parashurama, and that is the beauty of Mahabharatam. There are no emotions, there are no feelings. It is just and just dharma and nothing else. The dispute between Bhishmacharya and Parashurama arises due to Amba, and that's again a different backstory. I think most of us are aware of the Amba's revenge on Bhishmacharya, who eventually becomes Shikandi herself to kill Bhishmacharya. So in that turn of events, Parashurama grants protection to Amba and asks Bhishmacharya to marry Amba, while Bhishmacharya denies and says that he vowed to stay unmarried throughout his life. Then Parashurama asks him to fight, and in certain turn of dramatic events, there ensued a battle between Parashurama and Bhishmacharya, in which eventually Parashurama lost to Bhishmacharya. But still, Parashurama was proud of his student Bhishmacharya and appreciates him for his stand towards dharma and retreats. Parashurama retreated to the Mahendragiri mountains to live a life of asceticism and contemplation. Here he remains in eternal meditation or tapas, and his presence on Mahendragiri mountains symbolizes his continued role as a guardian of dharma and a witness to the unfolding events in the nature and cosmos. As a Chiranjeevi, Parashurama's immortality ensures his ongoing influence and guidance across ages, from pre-Ramayanam times, from Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and in the Puranic literature, reflecting his enduring legacy both as a warrior and also as a sage, and most importantly, as a protector and guardian of dharma. In the future, when Kalki avatar is expected to arrive at the end of Kali Yuga to restore the dharma again, emerges Parashurama, and he will impart his wisdom and combating skills in Dhanurvidya and everything. He will be the guru of Kalki in his formative years, ensuring that Kalki is well prepared to defeat the forces of adharma and usher in a new era of dharma and righteousness. This mentorship reflects the continuity of the divine guidance from one avatar of Sri Mahavishnu to another avatar of Sri Mahavishnu, facilitating the restoration of dharma across ages, across eons, and forever. Parashurama is revered for his mastery on weaponry and Dhanurvedam and martial arts, and is closely associated with Kalaripayattu, an ancient Indian martial art form. According to the legends, Parashurama is credited with founding Kalaripayattu in the southern region of India, particularly in Kerala, after receiving the divine instruction and training from various sources. He is said to have imparted his profound knowledge of combating techniques, including the use of weapons and body movements, to his disciples, thus laying the foundation of this martial art, Kalaripayattu. It is characterized by its focus on physical training, weaponry, and dynamic movements, embodies the warrior skills and strategic insights that Parashurama exemplified. Parashurama's connection to Kalaripayattu highlights his enduring influence on martial traditions in Bharat and his role as a key figure in the development of ancient Indian combating techniques. Parashurama, as we know, is an embodiment of both Kshatriya and Shastra. While the Kshatriya element is established by him through Kalaripayattu, the Shastra element is established by Parashurama through Parashurama Kalpasutrani. Starting from Goa up until the complete western belt until end of Kerala is completely influenced, rather shaped up by Parasurama Kalpasutrani. In brief, Parasurama Kalpasutrani has various aspects like Bhumi Shuddhi, Shilpa Shastram, Vastu Shastram, Prana Pratishtha, Nitya Puja, Yajnam, Utsavas, Tantra, Achara, Bali, Naivedyam. All these aspects shape up the culture in every temple throughout the western coast of Bharat, right from Goa up until Kerala, which is called as Parasurama Kshetram. The cultural and tribal traditions of these areas, which you saw in the movie Kantara, can be well understood when one tries to read Parasurama Kalpasutrani. I will make a separate video for both these, one for Kalaripayattu and the other one for Parasurama Kalpasutrani in conjunction with the Bhuta Kola and the traditions that you have seen in the movie Kantara. But those two videos would take time. But for now, just to stay at high level, the entire Parasurama Kalpasutrani shaped up the western coast of Bharat as we know today. And all this is because of the great Parasurama. And now that is the complete history of Parashurama in very brief terms. Like I said, it is a very non-linear and very fragmented history of Parashurama. And all I covered is maybe 5 to 6%. That's it. If you really want to understand the real history of Parashurama, then from here on, I'm going to quote certain important scriptures along with what exactly in those scriptures are detailed about Parashurama for your reference. The most important of all is Mahabharatam. Adi Parvam, Vana Parvam, Udyoga Parvam and Karna Parvam. These are the 4 important chapters that give us the history of Parashurama. Adi Parvam details Parashurama's lineage and early life. Vana Parvam gives a complete account of his history. Udyoga Parvam describes his encounter with Bhishma Charya, and Karna Parva narrates his interaction with Karna, and a lot more details. And there are many other Parvas also which quote Parashurama, but these are few of them where you will find a significant reference of Parashurama. Next comes Sri Ramayanam, that talks about the encounter between Parashurama and Bhagavan Sri Rama as part of Balakanda. Here it all explains the transition of power from Parashurama to Bhagavan Sri Rama. And then comes Bhagavata Puranam. Bhagavata Puranam provides a detailed account of Parashurama's birth, his conflict with all the Kshatriyas, his role as a sage and as a warrior. Bhagavata Puranam, again also called as Srimad Bhagavatam, gives extensive details about Parashurama. And then there are also a lot of references about Parashurama in various Puranas like Brahmanda Puranam, which contains the lineage and the details and the battles of Parashurama, and Vishnu Puranam, which offers insights into Parashurama's life and his role as an avatar of Sri Mahavishnu, and Markandeya Puranam, which provides accounts of his penance and the reasons for his actions against Kshatriyas. And there are many other Puranas which also quote about Parashurama. But till now what I just gave you are the major references that are reasonably enough to construct a complete timeline and the life history of Parashurama, which I tried to present in a simplest possible format, but definitely not complete. And finally, coming to the reason why I chose to make a documentary about Parashurama is, Parashurama is an embodiment of Kshatriya and Shastra both. The fighting spirit to protect Dharma and the learning spirit to understand Dharma. Both are essential for young boys and girls across Bharat, and especially from the regions of Goa, Karnataka and Kerala. Know what you inherited. Understand what you inherited. It is the Kshatriya and the Shastra, both, that you inherited from Parashurama. We all did, in fact. And for the times that we are living in, Parashurama is definitely one of the greatest inspirations that we all could derive and make our lives better and the country better. And let me conclude with these few words about Bhagavan Sri Parashurama. Agratah chaturo vedah prushtatah shasaram danuhu idam brahmam idam kshatram shapadapi sharadapi. Parashurama, well versed in 4 Vedas and armed with an axe, bow and arrow, will destroy adharma either with a curse or with an arrow. Remember 2 words, Kshatriya and Shastra. And that is the bottom line. And that is all about Bhagavan Sri Parasurama. And as always, thanks for watching.